So as a funeral director, I cannot overstate the importance of a funeral celebrant. They really can make or break the service. Today, I wanted to explore the role of a funeral celebrant, and who better to chat to than one of my personal favourites and arguably one of the best in Melbourne. Tell us your name and a little bit about what led you to becoming a funeral celebrant.
My name is India May and I work in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne, Victoria. I would probably say that funeral celebrancy found me. I didn't go looking for it. It came in a season of deep grief when my grandma passed away, and at the end of that time together with my family and her friends, I was left with this amazing sense of peace and privilege that I was able to step in and honour her wishes and create something really beautiful that celebrated her life.
How would you describe the role of a funeral celebrant?
Great question. My job as a funeral celebrant is to be first and foremost a family advocate, to speak on their behalf and to help bring all their amazing, beautiful ideas into this service that honours their loved one. I think that it's really important to step in during that season of grief for them and to care for them, to assist them in any way possible. With their help, write a service that really celebrates the person that they love and treasure.
What would you say are some of the most common misconceptions that you hear?
Some families might think that the celebrant might act as if they know the person who passed away and they might maybe take over the service. I would say firstly that the service is very much about the person who has passed away, but it's also about the family and what they want, and so it's really important for me when I write a service. I always acknowledge that I didn't have the privilege of meeting that person.
Can you tell us about one of the more memorable services that you've led?
I remember one particular service that I led during COVID when Melbourne completely shut down and we had so many restrictions on funerals. And this was a particularly sad story because the lady was young. She was, well, I say young, but she was the same age as me, and she had 10 children, which is quite incredible, and her husband as well. And it was in a time where we could only have 10 people at a service, and her children were 10 and they needed their daddy at the funeral, and so we gave her husband a camera and said, "You are the cameraman for the funeral." And so I sat with these kids and husband during this time, and we created a service that was just all about her. And one of her favourite things that she loved to do with her kids was read stories. So we read children's books in the service. We sat down on the floor and made friendship bracelets and just really honoured who she was and made it really personal for her.
What makes a funeral service particularly meaningful or impactful for the family?
I would say that no person is the same, in the same way that no service should be the same. So when I sit with families and we help them to write a service that honours their special person, I ask them, what were their likes, what were their dislikes, what music did they listen to, did they have a sense of humour? And then from there we create a service with music. Music plays a huge part in how a service is formed. There's no rule that says you have to play a sad song at the beginning of a service. Started a service the other day to Rod Stewart's "Do You Think I'm Sexy?" and had to walk down the aisle of the chapel dancing because that's what his loved one loved doing. Rituals, poems, even the venue. I think COVID really challenged us to expand where we have funerals. All of a sudden wedding venues were being used for funerals, football fields. I've led services in people's homes before, so I think find a venue, find a setting that suits that person, and then go from there.
I know you're pretty passionate about your role as a celebrant, so I'm just wondering whether there's any advice you'd share with people that might be thinking about becoming celebrants.
I am very passionate. I love my job. I love it with every part of who I am. If this is something that you feel called to do, and it is very much a calling, because we have this amazing capacity to step into people's sacred places where you all of a sudden learn about their loved one, and I think that is an enormous privilege. And so I would say to future celebrants to look at your skill set. What are you good at? When you're a celebrant, you've got to be able to listen and to really, really listen to people's stories and to be able to write them down. You have to really be able to communicate that well to a room. So I would say look at your skill sets and then also watch funerals online. And I would also say find your style, find where you fit in this picture, because there is a need for all different types of celebrants.
Is there anything else that you want to share?
I would just like to say a personal thank you to all the families that I have looked after over the years, and just to let them know that their loved ones are very much part of my story still, and have shaped me and helped me to be a better celebrant. So wherever you are on your journey, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be part of it for just a very small part of time.
India, thank you so much for your
you,
time.
Mike.
For myself personally, thank you for every family that you've looked after. I know how much you care, and you do such an amazing job of bringing their loved one's story.
Thank you. Appreciate that.